With me now, two experts who have covered the ins and outs of Georgia politics side by side for almost a decade. Theron Johnson is the former Southern Regional Director for the Obama 2012 campaign, a Democratic strategist, and CEO of Paramount Consulting Group. Brian Robinson is Republican strategist, former spokesman for Georgia Governor Nathan Deal. Great to have both of you guys here.
It's good to be here.
I love that you're friendly with each other. There's none of the animosity we see on, or expecting to see on the debate stage. But let me ask you, Theron, as it stands, Trump is ahead, but again, within the margin of error. We've seen this in all these battleground states. Greg Bluestein of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution wrote about Joe Biden's all-out campaign. VP Harris jokes that she practically lives here.
Yeah.
How important is tonight to moving the needle?
Well, Biden's got a long ways to go in Georgia. Yes, he has had some leads that are just outside, some deficits just outside of the margin of error. But he's also had some, like in the New York Times, that have been double digits. And we've seen consistent leads for Trump throughout the last year here in Georgia. And one thing that's of great concern for Joe Biden is that AJC poll this week showed Trump doing better with voters 18 to 29, an area that Democrats usually dominate. And one thing that's of note here, Theron and I discuss it a lot, both campaigns highly targeting Georgia's black voters. They're 30% of our electorate, and we're seeing more and more willing to say they're going to vote Republican. Trump's really coming into that coalition. He's having events at cigar bars and barbershops with black men this week, the Trump campaign is. So there's going to be a real battle for those voters here in Georgia. And if Biden loses any ground with him, he cannot win Georgia.
Well, our Michelle Sindor went out and she talked to a bunch of people, half a dozen of them, who voted for Joe Biden but aren't feeling it this time around. Let's listen.
President Biden, what, if anything, do you like about him?
Yeah, I'm struggling to think of something.
I honestly can't think of one thing.
Flip side, let's go to former President Trump. What do you like about him?
Nothing.
Okay.
I second that.
They say they're going to vote for third-party candidates. And I mean, that's a winnable group, right, for both of these guys. How do they do it? How do they convince them, don't go with a third party, vote for me?
Well, the first thing we got to do is that we got to remind voters that we actually won the state in 2020. And Chris, how do we win it? Well, we put together the Biden coalition, and the Biden coalition is a key part of the women that you just showed on that screen, particularly African-American women and African-American men. While the Trump campaign is throwing money here and there, trying to show up the week of the debate, it's a little too late because the Biden-Harris campaign has invested millions and millions and millions of dollars, not just in battleground states like Georgia, but all over the country, going on black radio, doing black social media outreach, and actually having small focus groups. You mentioned in your opening that Vice President Harris has been here a bunch of times. You're right. She practically lives here. I mean, she's down here so much. I mean, I actually want to try to get her membership to one of our clubs to make sure that she feels welcome. And so what you will see the difference is that the Biden-Harris campaign has a systemic relationship with the Georgia voters. We won in 2020, and we won because we had a statewide strategy. And just quite frankly, we had a better ground game than the Trump campaign had. Now, let's talk about the apathy. That's what you heard. It's not necessarily directed at my guy, Joe Biden. It's also directed at President Trump, who we know has been...
Yeah, but I think in some ways it goes beyond apathy, does it? They're really disaffected, and they're these double haters. And I think some of those may be in that category. They just don't like these guys. They think Joe Biden is too old, and they think that Donald Trump is too volatile.
They also think that Donald Trump is too corrupt. And they think that Joe Biden is an established candidate who has a long history of experience in government, but they don't say he's corrupt. They don't think he's a bad guy. They don't think he's a liar. They don't think he's misleading the American people. The one thing that the Biden campaign will prove tonight is that before you tell people all the solutions you have for their campaign, before you provide them with the answers, you got to show them that you care. And I think that the empathy and the conduct and the candor that the president will show tonight through his record and how he presents himself, the American people will come his way. And ultimately, look, we still have almost 5 months left to go in this campaign. And I was right here in 2020 where a lot of media people wrote the Georgia campaign off. They didn't think there was no way that Georgia was going to elect its first presidential candidate since 1992. We did it. We'll do it again. And I think it starts tonight.
If Trump wins here, how does he do it? Because there has been a lot of conversation, not just in Georgia, but around the country, that so much money and attention was spent on his trials that the ground game didn't get up and running fast enough, that Biden has the advantage there. What's it going to take in Georgia? What are they going to have to hear on that debate stage tonight?
Georgians want to know what all Americans want to know. They want to know, what are you going to do about the cost of living? Atlanta has amongst the highest inflation in the country because we're continuing to grow throughout this time. And it's really shooting up, for example, apartment prices. That's getting to be really unaffordable for, many Gen Zs and younger Gen Xers here in this state. Talk about that and talk about immigration. We had a grisly murder here committed allegedly by an illegal immigrant in Athens.
Allegedly.
I'm just being careful. Yes.
Yeah.
He's been charged. But that is top of mind for many voters. We're continuing to see violence committed by illegal immigrants in New York. So those issues are top of mind for Georgians. And frankly, they are issues
Are you
where,
seeing a
where
ground
they
game
trust.
that can win for Donald Trump here?
I'm not.
Absolutely. Yes. Look, the ground game is highly overrated for one thing. Will Biden have more staffers? Will he have more campaign offices? Absolutely. But the Trump campaign is going to hire over 40 people to have in this state. They're going to invest heavily here. And look, here's their view on it, Chris. We're winning. We're winning here.
And they thought they were winning 4 years ago, and we won. And I'm telling you, when it comes to the ground game and the quality of surrogates that we have and knowing the state the way we know it, it's unmatched. They're just getting here. And again, just opening up barbershops, spending a lot of money, going to the varsity, hiring Republican black people to come and say, oh, we love you. It's not going to win this state. What's going to win this state is starting with the president tonight. And then after he wins this debate, continuing this ground game, spending time here, bringing infrastructure dollars. And listen, if you want to talk about immigration, Republicans need to step up and join the president, because it was Donald Trump who stopped the immigration plan that the Congress was ready to pass.
And you guys are still friends, right?
Oh, yeah, we're friends.
Okay.
We do it every three times a week.
Brian Robinson and Theron Johnson. Thanks, guys.
Hey there, MSNBC fans. I'm Luke Russert, and be sure to join me, Rachel Maddow, Jen Psaki, Lawrence O'Donnell, Steve Kornacki, Joy Reid, and many more September 7th in Brooklyn. MSNBC Live Democracy 2024. Click on the link for ticket information. We will see you there.